Welcome back to Enter Valhalla. We've talked about a lot of heavy stuff on this show. We've talked about the fog, the ghosts, the sadness. But today, I want to talk about something, well, something completely absurd.
Absurd? This is a first for us. Okay, I'm in. What are we talking about?
We're talking about the time I went to war with a literal demon over a turkey sandwich.
Okay, you have my full attention. A demon over a sandwich? Please explain.
Okay, so this was about a month before my dad passed away. He was sick, but he was still, Dad. He was stubborn and he was particular about his food. I'd come over to make him lunch and I was in a mood. I was stressed with work. I was terrified about him and I just had no patience.
The classic pre-grief stress.
Exactly. So I'm making him a turkey sandwich and he says from the living room, "Hey, Al, make sure you put the mayonnaise directly on the bread, not on the turkey."
A man of culture, I see.
Right? And I just snapped. I yelled back, "Dad, for God's sakes, it's a sandwich. It all goes to the same place. I don't need a play-by-play on steps to make a sandwich." It was so mean and so petty. And he just got really quiet. I brought him the sandwich and he just said, "Thanks." And we didn't talk about it.
Oh, Alex. The dumb fight.
The dumbest fight. A month later, he was gone. And you know what my brain, in its infinite wisdom, decided was the single most important memory to focus on?
The sandwich?
The sandwich. For months, this thought would just attack me. It became this demon on my shoulder. I'd be trying to sleep and it'd whisper, "The last real thing you said to your father was yelling at him about mayonnaise. You're a monster. Shame, shame on you, a-hole."
Oh, that's classic grief guilt. It finds the smallest, most absurd thing and blows it up into a capital crime.
It's insane. I felt like an alien in my own life. Everyone else was grieving the big, profound moments, and I was being tortured by a condiment. I couldn't tell anyone. Who do you say that to? "Sorry, I'm a wreck. I was a jerk about turkey."
And that's how the guilt wins. It isolates you. It makes you feel like you're the only person in the world who has this dark, stupid secret.
And this is where it got weird. I had this internal battle going on. I had the sandwich demon on one shoulder just roasting me 24/7. And then I started to fight back. How? I had to find my inner angel, for lack of a better word. That part of my brain, the rational part that had to step up. The demon would say, "You're a terrible son." And this other voice, which was much quieter, would have to say, "You spent 30 years loving that man. You held his hand for a week. The sandwich doesn't matter."
You were literally having to do cognitive behavioral therapy on yourself in real time.
It was a full-on battle. And this is where, and you're going to laugh, this is where the Vikings came in.
Of course they did. This is the Enter Valhalla channel after all.
Right? I was so stuck in this shame. And I thought about the whole point of Valhalla. It's this hall for warriors. And I realized the real battle isn't with some dragon. The real battle is with that demon on your shoulder. The bravest fight a person can have is against their own regret.
That's actually incredibly profound.
So I made a decision. I stood in my kitchen and I said out loud, "You're right. It was a dumb thing to say. I wish I hadn't said it. I'm sorry, Dad." I just owned it. I acknowledged the demon. And then I had to do the warrior part. I had to forgive myself. I had to say, my one tiny mistake does not erase a lifetime of love.
So what did you learn in the end from the holy war over deli meat?
I learned that grief is a liar. It's a con artist. It will find your smallest insecurity and build a monster out of it. And I learned that the only way to beat that demon isn't to pretend it's not there. It's to face it. Call it by its name, absurd sandwich guilt. And then, like a true Viking, you have to bravely, consciously choose to forgive yourself. That's the real victory. That's how you actually enter Valhalla.
I love that. So to everyone listening who is being tortured by their own turkey sandwich,
You are not a monster. You're just a human who is grieving. And you're not an alien. You're in very good company.
we want to hear your story. What's your turkey sandwich? What's the absurd small thing that your grief guilt has tried to turn into a demon? Let's share them in the comments and take their power away.
Thank you for listening to Enter Valhalla. Be brave and be kind to yourself.